These are Jesus's commandments. And first, you must take a look at my renovated earth to hear the everyone saved passages and the fire passages in the Bible, how the hundreds of fire passages are all coming from the mouth, from the tongue is a fire. Jesus' voice shakes the sky again. Even the remnant of his people get the sword of his mouth. I mean, on and on. God's rod is of his mouth. So you must understand that Jesus' baptism also is of fire and of spirit. So his words are the lake of fire that is mentioned in the Bible that can convince the ungodly of their ungodly deeds. It must be words and not a physical rod or a physical flame fire. So I wanted to go over that with you, and then this is his actual commandments, and then I'll have to go over Matthew 5 because he makes commandments tougher than what they already were. So he says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. And then the first thing is, a new commandment I give you, that ye love one another. Okay, this is the new commandment that he said I give you. And he says, if ye had loved me, you would have loved my Father. What he's saying is you don't love each other in that passage. Love the Lord thy God is the first commandment. The second is love thy neighbor as thyself. This is what Jesus is saying. This is his commandments. These two laws hang all the law and the prophets. And then bear ye one another's burdens, so fulfill the law. A crown of life the Lord hath promised to them that love him. And then Jesus commands love God and love your neighbors again. And then those who hear are my brethren. He goes over that in Luke 8. And then he reverberates the Ten Commandments and says, do not murder, commit adultery, do not steal, do not bear false witness, honor thy father and mother, sell what they have and give to the poor. And then whosoever follows Christ in the regeneration and forsakes houses, brethren, sisters, fathers, mothers, children, lands, wife, will receive 100-fold. Now, that is the last and the most important commandment that Jesus gave, is to follow him in the regeneration, the forgiving of people, forgiving them and starting over anew, everyone made anew on the planet. That's what that word means, to regenerate. Everyone on the planet needs to be made anew, and that will happen, and that is in Jesus's commandments. And then also, you have to see Matthew 5, how he takes commandments such as thou shalt not kill and turns them into thou shalt not be angry with thy brother or thou receive judgment. And the thou shalt not commit adultery, he takes and turns it into whosoever shall looketh upon a woman to lust after her is committed in his heart. And he takes only the fornication in order for a divorce. And of old time you've heard, forswear thyself, but I say thou shalt not swear at all by heaven nor earth. And then he says, you've heard, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, but I say resist not evil. Now I wanted to go over that because I am being very resistant to evils, but that is on your behalf. And that's why he says resist not evil, because someone's going to do that for you when they see you're being slapped. Someone else will do that, and that will be the right way to handle it. And so I am the person who is resisting this evil for you, and I even define the word resist so that you can know that that's what I'm doing for you. It says to fend off, to oppose actively, to fight against. So that's what the resist means, and I am resisting these topics on YouTube for you, so that you don't have to spank your children like the church wants you to. I've resisted that on my YouTube, And you don't have to command to abstain from herbs and meats like the churches want you to. Uh, um, because I've put that on my YouTube, the truth. And then you don't have to disfellowship and disown your family and fire people based off of man's hateful system of disfellowshipping. I am resisting those evils for you on my YouTube because they are doctrines of devils. The Bible says specifically. So whoever asketh of him, let him borrow. Love your enemies, bless them that curse you. So Jesus is making harder the commandments. And he says to love these people that persecute you so that you can be children of your Father which is in heaven. And he says, if you salute only your brethren, then you do just as the publicans. So this disfellowshipping and things people do, disowning, that most definitely makes you just like the publicans. You're only saluting your brethren. But he says, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. He salutes everyone, okay? Um, also it was Jesus who said, all right, their heart is far from me. In vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines of commandments of men. And that's these doctrines of devils that I've been telling you about, that is to command and abstain from meats and herbs, and to disfellowship people, and then disown family members and fire people, and then to spank your children. These are all doctrines of devils. I wanted to go over this, that it said if you speak evil of a brother in James 4:11, that makes you a judge, and a judge of the law, to speak evil of your brother. And I brought that up because of Jesus's comment about calling one a fool. So I think that goes over the commandments and everything that Jesus commanded, that's in the Bible that I could find.